Hi, this is Movie Critical, and we're your hosts. I am Brandy.
And I'm Brant.
And today we're humoring Brant with the guitar.
That's right. Today we are talking about a new movie. The name of that movie is Horton Hears.
No, Brant. Horton Hears a Who.
Well, I'd like to think that he hears the Who too.
Okay.
Alright, we know that you want to hear more about Horton Hears a Who, and so we'll get right down to it.
Okay, so Horton Hears a Who stars Jim Carrey and Steve Carell.
As voice talents.
And also Carol Burnett. And who plays the vulture?
Will Arnett. And so we were excited to go see this one. Obviously, it's a computer animated movie. And
the animation was amazing. I just want to say right now that phenomenal, knocked our socks off. The first scene, it shows this leaf with the dew on the water falling off, and it looked 100% real.
Oh, it looks so real. I asked her, I was like, is this real or is this computer animated?
Yeah, we weren't sure. And
yeah,
a lot of the movie was like that.
Well, they figured out a way to make water look so real. I mean, it's almost like they stuck these three-dimensional animals that, look computer animated because they're characters, and stuck them in this beautiful 3D animated world that, honestly, I would love to live there, personally.
Right, it was amazing, and it looked like they seriously brought Dr. Seuss to life in so many of the elements. Brant linked to me at one part of the movie and said, I love the hair trees, and they were just exactly like the Lorax and other Dr. Seuss books. It was phenomenal, very, very true to Dr. Seuss's artistic abilities and
his vision. It's exactly what I think that he wanted, and I was very impressed, to be completely honest.
You have a lot of books that are brought to movie, and a lot of times I feel like it does an injustice to the movie or to the book, and actually diminishes the worth of the book. But this, I think, just brought it to life and did a great service to Dr. Seuss.
Right. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the movie. They stayed true to the book. They threw in a lot of, spiced up humor elements to it, obviously bringing the talents of Jim Carrey, Steve Carell, and these other great actors to the table with this movie.
Right.
And it was hilarious. I mean, we sat in the theater, and there was a row of kids, a family
in front of
us, and there's a row of kids behind us. And we were the ones laughing and making the most noise out of everyone. There's kids looking at us the whole time.
Looking at us, wondering why we were laughing so loud.
Yeah, I mean, we were crazy.
And there we were without any kids. We were just there in the middle of the day, the two of us. So we looked a little out of place, but it was hilarious.
Right, it was funny. I mean, there was some parts that were a little droll to me, but it was so visually stunning that it didn't matter to me. I mean, I was just enthralled with the world of Dr. Seuss.
Right, and what Brad's trying to say is there was a part that I leaned over to him, I thought it was dragging just a little bit. It lost a little bit of my attention, but overall, I thought it was fabulous. And one thing that I worry about sometimes is when they bring in an actor into a kids show and into an animation film, that they go a little overboard with crude language and crude humor, and I just think it's a little more adult. But I think Jim Carrey especially did a great job just keeping it on a kid level, kid friendly.
What movies have you seen that they make it crude in an animated movie?
Like Shrek.
Okay, well, yeah.
There's even crude
that's true. Eddie Murphy
and like Toy Story and things like that.
Well, yeah, but not to a large extent. But
what
it's
I'm
true.
Is this was done very tastefully.
In fact, touching on that topic, I was a little disappointed that they didn't give Steve Carell and Jim Carrey a little bit more flexibility to have more of a comedic, freedom to improv.
No, I completely disagree, because I think in this they were able to showcase a different element to their humor.
I can see that.
To a point where if you had gone in and not knowing it was them, you may not have realized it until maybe the end.
Well, yeah,
or not at all, unless you were really listening to the voices, because it was very fresh.
Well, I did not recognize Steve Carell. Anyone that's seen Over the Hedge, knows him as being the frantic squirrel running all around. I forget his name. Do you remember the name of the squirrel?
No.
Well, anyways, Happy the Squirrel, Hammy the Squirrel. You definitely got to see this crazy Steve Carell doing Hammy the Squirrel. And when you see him as the mayor that he plays in this movie, Totally
Completely
different. Yeah, I wouldn't have
Completely
known.
different.
I wouldn't have known it was him if I didn't really know him as an actor and seen him in so many things.
And know his voice. I think
And know his
they
voice.
just, I think that is why we can say they did such a great job, is they were able to step into a new element, a brand new element that you didn't feel like it was Jim Carrey talking in the form of an elephant, that
Well,
it
that's
was
true.
exactly him. It was something new, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Carrey, you could tell a little bit. He did some of his trademark signature voice stuff. However, it wasn't the same as comparing it to like the Grinch when he took on the Grinch in the live, the live version of Dr. Seuss's The Grinch with director Ron Howard. That was totally Jim Carrey. This is so different, and I think that you will like it for that reason.
I liked that they were true to the characters. He wasn't Jim Carrey the elephant. He was Horton the elephant.
It's true.
And it was so funny. And I think Horton stands alone in his humor. He needed Jim Carrey to bring him to life, but he didn't need to add additions to his character. Hilarious, absolutely phenomenal.
And I don't know if you felt the same way, but there was a part at the end. I mean, the moral of this story, if you haven't heard of the book or seen it or read it, you need to see the movie, because the moral of the story is so profound. It is so good for your kids, for your family, for yourself, that you're going to want to see it and pay attention to the subplots and the moral of the whole story. Because I almost started to tear up at the end, and then they brought back the comedy, and then I started, almost laughing hysterically again.
Right.
But it was so well done. It definitely.
The theme of the movie
good.
is a person's a person no matter how small. And that's one thing that I love about Dr. Seuss is all of his books, although they're zany and wacky and they use words that don't even exist, and hair bushes and things like that, he brings very real perspective and also morals about life into a kid's element where they can understand it.
Sure. As a family movie, we definitely, in my opinion, I say take your whole family.
Right.
Go see the movie in theaters. It's pure eye candy for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Pure eye candy. It's exhilarating.
I've never seen animation as good as this movie.
Not at all. And so
one.
take your family to see it. Go take them again if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Go rent it. Go see all the bloopers and
Right.
the outtakes and the deleted scenes. I'm sure that's going to be amazing as well. And honestly, I think that I'll end up buying that one and putting it in my collection.
Absolutely. I give it 2 socks.
2 socks off. Okay, I'm gonna give it because.
What?
Okay, because of the fact.
No.
Because of the fact.
Take that sock off!
No, I'm going to give it 1.5. 1.5. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because I thought it was very, very good, and I left, very satisfied. But I still think there's some movies that can top it, in my opinion, for me.
Well, but
Now, for you, I guarantee that there's probably a lot of you out there that will disagree with me and say, 4 socks, Brand, you suck.
you do.
However,
You
I'm
suck.
going to give it. I'm going to give it 1.5
I can't
stars.
believe that, because it's not in the competition with the movies that are coming up. It stands alone.
Okay, put it up again. We're going to give it 3.5 socks off, but definitely something that
Well,
I
then
would
you better
recommend
give me a
buying.
reason why you didn't give it the 4th sock. What was lacking about this movie? Because you can't say you're not giving it 4 socks just because Batman's going to get 4.
Okay, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Movies like August Rush, movies like Batman Begins, and I know The Dark Knight when it comes out, those movies I leave in awe. I cannot stop thinking about the movie. I cannot stop talking about the movie. Horton Sees a Who. Horton Hears a Who. It was so good, but I could kind of leave it behind and go about my other stuff, even though I'd like to see it again. So I'm not going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 3.5. But that's me. And so go see it. Take your family to it so that you can disagree with me or agree.
I completely disagree with Grant. 2 socks. Go see it. Take everyone to see it.
I agree too. But there might be a few other films this year that will top it, so I want to be fair to those. So for all of us here at Movie Critical, I'm Brant.
And I'm